Or initializing. Initialization. Yeah. Initialization. There we go.
Whoa, we got comments already.
Already? Wow. Were we late or something?
I don't know. I didn't know people can make comments before we were on. Hopefully they weren't hearing that conversation we were just having.
There we go.
Just still waiting for Instagram to fire up, and then as soon as it goes, I'll hit it.
Look at that. Hot toe so far. I get that. It is a hot tour so far, I think.
I mean, weather-wise, especially.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. I like Kevin's comment. I feel like we need to do a version of the Hank Williams, All My Rowdy Friends.
That's right. That's right.
Unce it out, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a real song, or did they just make that for Monday Night Football?
Don't quote me, but I think that it was a real song, and then they, did the sort of like change the lyrics, like so that it's like, Kool and the Gang was singing about Wendy's Frosties or something like that. Remember they used to do that back in the 80s?
Yeah, they did. They did. Frosties. What is a Frosty? It's not ice cream. It's not a milkshake. It's like,
I don't know.
I think named after
dip their French fries in the Frosty, which they would never do to a milkshake. I don't know.
That's so French. So French. I think the thing about the Frosty is like, if you're gonna make your own ice cream product and try and launch it into America, which is like, we have a lot of ice cream products. We don't necessarily need your ice cream products. I mean, look at the Dippin' Dots guys as well. Like, if you were going to take ice cream and make it into a new product and then launch it and then name it after the most beloved snowman in the history of snowmen and then not pay that guy off to be your sponsor and like have no Frosty the Snowman tie-in or sponsorship whatsoever, your whole restaurant needs to go out of business. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know, man.
That's terrible. Like, you can't call it a Frosty and not pay off Frosty to sit there and be like, yeah, this is delicious. You got to have Frosty the Snowman.
I don't know. Did Frosty, maybe there was an incident, sometimes. Oh, I think we actually.
You think it was an HR incident when Frosty came to visit?
Yeah, like remember Jared
Wendy's?
From Subway? Frosty.
Frosty visited Wendy's. Wendy's probably, the center of Wendy's is probably in like Oklahoma or something like that. And Frosty showed up and he was he's a city snowman. Cigar.
Those cosmopolitan ways just don't fly in middle America. And that's the problem. Frosty is canceled. And that's that.
This is before it canceled. They were like, we're going to put you on these cups. And he was like, yeah, I got, where's Wendy? I want to meet
Come here,
Wendy.
Sweetheart. All right. Okay. I think we got everything up and running. Let's rock and roll, John.
Got any other snowman? Yeah. That was the problem with the Frosty, was they didn't get the tie-in with the guy. They should have
Welcome back to Touchdowns All Day Fast Food Report.
Yes.
I'm Max Dawson, here with John Barber, discussing the merits of Wendy's Frosties and why in the world they blew the opportunity to get Frosty himself as their spokesperson.
Yep.
John, I see you are home. Welcome back.
Oh, it's great to be home. Let me tell you, it's nice. It is nice and hanging out. Today's flip schedule day, which whenever I get home, when I'm on tour, I'm waking up at noon. I'm waking up at 1 o'clock. I'm trying to maintain my authentic rock and roll guy schedule, which, really adds to the whole experience, frankly. When you're like wide awake at midnight at the party, like having fun, playing music for people, it makes a lot of sense. When you're waking up at 7:01 a.m. and you're exhausted at 11:30 p.m., it doesn't make any sense. And so I get on that schedule because that's the real schedule. That's the authentic schedule. But today I'm home, and today I was 7 a.m. I was just like, I couldn't even see through my eyeballs. I was opening my eyes, and there was like 3 layers of tour over my corneas, and it was just fog. It was like I was like, pour coffee right in my
Directly
eyeball.
into the eyeballs.
I'm not even going to drink it. Just I'll lay down, I'll hold my eyes open and pour coffee into my eyes.
Well, you're coming off of an especially busy week. 5 shows, multiple after parties. Somehow you pulled off the longest jam of the year, longest version ever of a classic song, longest version ever of a new song, crazy set list, dyslexic splits, new venues, covering a lot of geography. So it is no wonder that you are exhausted right now. And I'm sure River is just ready to get back to dad time. I'm sure Stevie's pretty excited to see you. And I'm sure Lisa is ready for a break. So no rest for the weary.
I mean, the nice thing was when I saw my baby girl, she's so young that it's hard to like blame her for stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I come home from tour and I'm like, she better remember me, man. She better. But she hasn't seen me in like half her life. So if she doesn't remember me, I can't really get mad about it. I can't like throw a chair or something like that, you know?
She's like, who's this guy? Is
She's
a
like,
relative?
Who's this guy? Is this? And yeah, but she did remember me. She smiled when she saw me and she gave me the look. And I was like, woof, woof. That could have been tough. That could have been a tough one.
Well, like I said, very busy week last week. So much to talk about. Very often, John, when I'm pulling these playlists together for Touchdowns All Day Live, I'm just like, well, obviously we're talking about that. And earlier in the week, I was like, well, obviously we're talking about the beautiful postcard for Columbus. I even kind of called my shot during the halftime show, during the Nugs stream on Saturday night in Westport. But then I went back and listened back to the whole week, and I mean, we could just do an entire episode on that cyclone. We could do an entire episode on that better in doses. We could do an entire episode on that tricycle doorbell sandwich with the Like a Prayer from Westport. I feel like you guys kicked it into gear this last week. Not that tour wasn't already humming along, but something clicked, I feel like, in the last 5 shows where you guys took it up a notch. Did you have any kind of similar sense when you were out there on the road?
I think so. I think as a band, we had some nice conversations that were based around playing the melody and everybody in the band playing the melody, no matter who's playing the melody. But for the band to be playing the melody on stuff that, I guess, Max, you're not into that. But
I did not realize. I still don't know how I make those hand gestures.
That's
I actually want to give it a big thumbs up because I found the playing this last week to be incredibly melodic, a lot of thematic jams, a lot of bliss jamming. I felt like you backed away from the harder electronic sounds on a song-by-song basis, but still went hard in some tractor beam segments that were a little more self-contained. But it felt real jam bandy this last week in a really good way. And I like to hear that was the product of a conversation about, as you were saying, playing to the melody.
Yeah, I think that it's easy in the Biscuits to just zone out and play like the meditation, or play like the back of your unconscious brain and just go with your brain. And the Biscuits, we do that all the time, and it's good. But there does seem to be like something that gets unlocked in the band when the band agrees to play the melody. I feel like something gets unlocked. And then the shows after, we've had the play the melody conversation multiple times in our career. Haymaker came out of that. It's just like these big shows come out of these play the melody conversations that we have. Because it's hard to play the melody. It means that like everybody's got to like kind of be together all the time. And that's not really what we do all the time. So, it also isn't like the most, like, if we were playing exploratory music, it's hard to be super exploratory and also be like, like covering for everybody all the time. So it is what it is. I think that we played, these rooms were also like really good spaces for, like, one room was a church, like the Ohio room was a church. Like if you're going to play the melody, like you want to be in a church for that, like it would have been one thing We didn't play a lot of like great techno. People are like, you're playing a little bit less techno in the past couple shows. It's like, yeah, but none of the rooms were really techno rooms. Like it was a church and a lawn, and whatever Indianapolis was, which was kind of like it was similar to the church actually, just without the stained glass windows. But it was very similar as far as the build of the room and stuff like that. So it was cool. It was cool. I mean, we can change it up.
I like that. And another thing, a lot of early starts. So afternoon first sets while the sun is still out. That might have a little bit of an impact on the sort of mood and the attitude that you guys bring out there. I'm thinking specifically that beautiful Magellan that closed out the first set along the riverfront in Westport, Connecticut on Saturday night. It's nice to see that diversity. You guys have all of these tools. And over the course of this tour, you've shown all of them to us. Hardcore techno at the Tractor Beam shows. You've gone super exploratory. Like I mentioned, you played a 40-plus minute Better in Doses.
Yeah, what happened there? I didn't even notice that.
What show was that? That was in Pittsburgh. The second set in Pittsburgh, the second set in Columbus contains some of the most exciting playing that I've heard from you guys in quite some time. That second set in Pittsburgh, you did Doses for 40-plus minutes. You also did a Crazy Risky Business Helicopters Spacebird segment. We're going to listen to elements of all of these, especially Columbus, that Jigsaw Cyclone mashup thing that was going on with the very psychedelic conclusion where it dropped out to just Aaron, Alan, and Alan's meditation guru chanting over you guys. So we definitely got all of the different flavors of the Disco Biscuits over the course of this past week. You also did some after parties. I want to know, how did the after party where you and Magner teamed up go?
I mean, that was maybe my favorite set of the whole. I had a lot of favorite moments of this week. I feel like that things were really good this week, and there was a lot of reasons to be excited. And, you know, obviously Ohio, I don't know what happened in Ohio. I feel like we lifted the music off the ground and then threw it down on the ground a couple of times. I don't know if it translates on the tape, but that's how it felt like on stage. Like we were lifting it up and throwing it down. So I don't want to take anything away from that, because that's like, those are special moments for the band, especially if it translates to tape. But me and Magner playing my DJ act, which is kind of very fun to play right now, was a highlight for me, just as far as being really fun. It was a very fun, hour or two, whatever it was, 2 hours, 2.5 hours maybe.
And what kind of material did you play that night?
Well, what I do is I take songs that I make. I mixed in a couple songs that I DJ, but it's generally songs that I make. And I figure out if I was to trigger bass lines separately from drum beats, separately from vocals, separately from textures, is what I call them in that app. Can I play this song? Like, can I make this song out of pieces, bits and pieces? And then I add pieces when the answer's no. It's usually no, but I'll add little pieces to get us there, like the piano line from the song, or a rhythm line like. Photograph, I had the cowbell from the demo, which is like that cowbell from the demo, like just screams Photograph to me. Mm-hmm. So I'll add that, and then the drums will be, and so I'll be like playing drums, bass, and textures all at the same time, and then I'll bring some vocals in, and you get hot is what it is. You just get hot, and after a while you're like, oh, you start making songs that are a mix of Photograph and Scars to the Brave and Firewall Exchange all mixed together into this song. And then, eventually something confusing happens and you got to like chill out for a second. And in those situations, you look at Aaron and you're like, okay, drop something crazy now. And then Aaron will come in with something crazy. And it's like, oh, this works. With the two of us, this really works.
Wow. Well, I'm hoping that we can keep that collaboration going, because that's something I would very much like to check out, the Baba G Magner collab on the after parties.
Yeah, I just have to rename the act though.
Yeah, we need a band name. I gotta get,
not even a band name. I just have to get rid of Baba G.
Really?
Yeah,
Baba G is over? Okay, well, let's go to the chat. We have any ideas in here? We've got some very intelligent big brains. We've got Microsoft Joe in the house. He's good at naming things. I would
Is
like
he?
to see
Is he good at
Spaga
naming
G.
things?
What about Spaga G? Come on.
I don't like this the word and then G. I've since learned that the word Baba is like not short for barber. It's actually like a very loaded term in spiritual circles that I kind of knew, but I didn't think it was that serious.
Yes.
And I realized how serious. I've been in a bunch of conversations with people who are like, like crazy about the word Baba, like crazy about it, and it just it just makes me feel like like it's just I don't know. I think I'm over it. I think I'm good.
A little bit of a phony, a little bit of a spiritual imposter.
No, not really like that, because I think that they're probably imposters.
I was going to say,
the time,
you shouldn't feel alone. Most people who, especially white people who adopt some sort of Hindu name, they actually are full of shit. But
I mean, it's John Barber G. Like it's Barber G, like Baba G. I'm allowed to be Baba G all day long. Spiritualism is irrelevant in my opinion. But I just feel like it has too many. It just has too many weird like correlations. There are other Baba G's out there. It's just like there's a lot of stuff going on.
Okay. Well, I think, listen, we're going to keep the hotline
Gangster
open,
John.
424-666-SIYD. Hit us up with your ideas.
That's good. Gangster John, right? That's good. Jet Setter. Excellent. Ha 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 ha. Also great. Bad Baba. This one I do not like.
I
Big
think
Daddy
when you and
JG,
Magner play
that's not
together,
terrible.
that could have its own name as well. I think there are lots of options. Listen, the Disco Biscuits have many identities. The perfume, Tractor Beam, the Disco Biscuits, the robots.
DJ Coralization. Oh my God! Look how perfectly typed that is. Is that spelled correctly? Look how
it's not a word.
Amazing that is.
It is definitely not a word, but it is now. Coralization.
I could just see Tyrone at 9 years old, just like crushing the spelling bee in his school.
And it's actually funny because he is
R mirror.
He is 9 years old. He's one of the
really?
Things. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look at that capitalization.
Well,
JG Unsworth. That's funny.
I told you.
That's funny.
This is a focus group.
$5 haircuts.
All day audience.
That's a great name. That is a great name.
We are crowdsourcing this.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm fine with the name. I don't know why I really think this. I just was like, I was looking up stuff on YouTube and I was just like, I can't believe I'm part of this rabbit hole. Like I can't.
Yeah, like Wild Wild Country and all the other documentaries about exploitation and stuff like that in the spiritual community. John, I understand that one of the afters took place at a place that had skee ball and like duck pin bowling and like stuff like that going on. Did I hear correctly?
Yes.
That's kind of my dream.
Yeah, it was just like a weird spot. There was like a wedding party. I don't know. It was a weird game. They brought some subwoofers in. It was cool. That was not my favorite show of the show because it just like wasn't a proper venue. So it's like you can't really do anything in a venue like that. You're just kind of play some hits for people so they can dance. But the other venue that me and Aaron played together, that was a real venue with a real sound system and real setup and lights and the whole thing. And so we had a lot of fun that night. That was Indianapolis. That was a really good show.
Yeah. Well, let's go through the week. And what a week it was. Started out in Louisville, the Mercury Theater. That show, unfortunately, has been just massively overshadowed by the next few nights, but I don't want to rush right past it. John, how was the crowd in Louisville? What was the vibe? Fill us in.
Well, Louisville's an interesting place. Because, my Louisville story is a little different. So,
okay,
we get to Louisville the day before.
Yes.
And I am, I guess you and I did a podcast, right?
I think, that was me.
Night? Yeah, it was you, right? We did that podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, after the podcast, I'm like a little hungry, and it's like, for me, it's not that late because it's tour. So, it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'm kind of hungry. So, the only place that has food is this hotel called the Brown Hotel around the corner, which is like an old classic hotel of some kind, right? and they have food that looks really good at 11. I don't want to get fast food, And so I go to this bar and I order this, like, it's like a croque monsieur with an egg on it or whatever. And one guy sits down to me, is like, "Hey, Barber." The guy next to me listens to in our conversation. He jumps in. The guy next to him, he jumps in. These two guys to my right are like surgeons or something. Like they're dressed in like scrubs. They're
Whoa.
not. They're wearing blue, like with the little like I just sewed somebody up look on their face. So
Wow.
and so I'm talking to all these dudes, and I'm figuring out that all of these people know who I am. Like the one guy's like, "Oh, I hear you on Sirius all the time." He starts to naming songs and all this shit. I'm just like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He even knows that we're on the jam band station that got moved so they can make the fish station. He's like, so he knows who the band is. And this other guy next to me is from Pennsylvania, knows who the band is, knows everything about the band. And this guy next to him knows everything about the band, except that we're playing at the club tomorrow night. None of them were going to the show tomorrow night. I was just like, what is going on with you guys?
They're just there for the meet and greet, the croque monsieur meet and greet at the Brown Hotel.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to eat my dinner, guys. Like, if we're gonna do the fan thing, at least know we're playing a show tomorrow. Like, at least be aware of the tour schedule. So we have to do a better job of reaching out to people who are in surgery and who are doing like government deals and running around the country, like doing things that are not in our little jam band eco bubble. What do they call it when you like only get news from a certain bubble?
Oh, yes, an echo chamber.
Your echo chamber, yeah. Our echo chamber, we're doing a bad job reaching outside of our Disco Biscuits echo chamber.
We're definitely not reaching employed people. I'll tell you that.
Clearly not. I mean, I'm sitting next to these guys and they're like, the one guy followed me out of the hotel like he wanted an autograph or something like that, and did not know we're playing a show the next night. And I'm sure they all went because we talked about it, but it was weird that they didn't know at the time.
Well, hopefully your doctor friends and your government contractor friends all made it out to the Mercury Ballroom, opened up that show with Scars, Tantalize, The Great Abyss by DMT, Mashup, Trapdoor, and closed things out with a classic A C to B. How you feeling about Scars? Continuing to feel good?
I love it. So it feels great. Yeah. I mean, it's everything. The vocals were really good this past run. We're hitting the high notes in Scars. We're hitting the high notes in Postcard, where everything's working out well. And we sound like a professional group. I think it's a good thing.
Very good. And then in the second set, big sequence with a deal into to be continued ending. You held off the beginning for a few more nights. Got a Tourists in there, piling it high. You had a Tunnel in that set. So unfortunately, not enough time to listen to that because we've got so much other stuff to listen to. And unfortunately, Indianapolis is going to get the short shrift as well. Again, these are great shows and some really fun things to see on the set list. That night, we had an inverted bridge for the first time. We had Lakeshore Drive back for the first time since 2024, 84 show gap. We had a Spaga. You did a fun thing in set 2 where you played the middle of Boop into Under Your Spell. If you guys recall, at the beginning of tour, there was supposed to be a Boop, Under Your Spell, Boop played. Instead, it was just beginning of Boop, Under Your Spell. Well, we got a little more of that Boop and once again paired it up with Under Your Spell. Those two songs are going really nicely together. Kept that bouncy vibe from Under Your Spell going into a Why We Dance. John, you and I are on the same page about Why We Dance. That song always delivers. It is like one of those songs that when it gets played, it's like, okay, the jam is probably going to end up in the Jam of the Year ballot later on.
I mean, that's what I think. I agree. There's for some reason that song got moved into the the guys in the band are like not that into it. I think is what it is, or maybe they're into it, but it just doesn't show up on set lists. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I mean, it's hard because there are so many new songs that are in such high rotation, and Why We Dance, I would think would be one of them. But it needs to have like a good play. Like I feel like we wrote it so fast, and like I don't necessarily think it's anyone's real issue. I just think that we wrote it at the end of the space opera when we had already just like flooded everybody's mailboxes with things to learn and stuff to do. Yeah. And we wrote it in like a blink of an eye. Like 1 minute it didn't exist, and the next minute it was totally done. Like it was done in the first day that we did it. We made some changes to it. We added the builds, but besides that, it's the same. So I just really feel like it just got kind of like left on the to-do list, and then it never got around to it. We never had a rehearsal for it. So I just feel like that song still needs to be played a lot, because everybody needs a certain like. I feel we also changed the key for the vocals. Like right after everybody learned it, we changed the key. So I feel like even Magner the other day was like, I still think of the song in the other key. And I feel like what that does is it just basically means that we haven't played it enough in the new key for that to happen. I mean, Wormhole, we switched keys. I don't think of Wormhole in the old key anymore. So it's, it's one of those things where we have such a huge rotation that things like the Why We Dance issue is going to happen, where you have a song that would normally be played every other night that you just can't get around to more than once a tour, or twice a tour if you're lucky.
Well, the competition for those slots is hotter than it's ever been.
It's fierce. It's fierce out there. Damn.
And that's the downside of hyper productivity, and especially with the space opera, where you guys were putting out so many new songs at the same time. There just wasn't the same amount of breathing room around those new songs that you're getting right now. So Postcard and Scars of the Brave and Under Your Spell, by comparison, have a lot more breathing room and are really benefiting from that. So let's get to that point. I want to talk a little bit about the Postcard that you played the next night in Columbus. And I'm starting it really... I've got a lot of this Postcard clipped because you do about 10, 12 minutes before you even start verse 1. So
yeah, I feel like that's where the jam is.
It's an intro jam?
I feel like for Postcards, like once you get in it, you're kind of in it. So there's something about the looseness and the like, I'm not gonna, like those changes will lock you up if you're not careful. And the changes don't come out in the intro. And so you don't get locked up. So the jam stays free, which I like.
And I was saying earlier, you were calling it playing to the melody. I was saying a lot more blissful jam band, melodic playing. No greater example than this, where you guys just stayed in a beautiful space, stayed at a more relaxed tempo, just kept things really nice, really chill for a very long time.
And what show was this from again?
Set 1 from Columbus.
This is from Columbus, yeah.
Yes. While we listen to this a little, John, I'm going to share with you a message I received from a fan. JMN 122275. Max, if you read this, can you tell the boys that the postcard from the Bluestone the other night was one of the most amazingly beautiful and moving pieces of live music I've ever witnessed, heard, or seen? That's coming from someone who's been in the jam band scene for almost 30 years. While they were playing it and even listening back to it, there are moments that I get damn near emotional when they're moving through the whole song. From here out, I will say, as a newer fan to the Disco Biscuits, the Bluestone postcard should be talked about until the end. So, new fan.
Okay. I like this guy.
They
should be writing our press releases.
Listen, maybe the people in Louisville would have known there was a show if he was writing some of the press releases.
Maybe so. Maybe so, dude. And apparently they've all heard of the band. They just didn't know there was a show.
They just don't know that you guys are on tour.
Yeah. That's literally. Yeah, this is nice. So I'm playing like this acoustic simulation mode that I have now.
Okay.
It's like a little different sound. Yeah, everything's fractal now. I'm just I might go in and out of some Helix stuff, but the fractal runs the show, so it's always in there. And And we've been we kind of dialed it back a little bit. We went to some basic stuff, which is kind of another reason why the sound has gotten more jam bandy and less technical. Because that Helix is wired to do some crazy things, and the Fractal is not. And mixing them together has been not possible for a few shows.
Okay.
Just due to time constraints and stuff like that. So it's when I play just the Fractal, it gets a little bit jam bandy. I don't have quite the arpeggiators that I had on the Helix. There's a couple very, very helpful synthy things that the Helix can do that I haven't figured out how to do on Fractal yet. Well, none of them do it out of the box. So yeah. I gotta I gotta sit with the thing for 2 days straight, locked in a room, to figure out how to do these things.
It's really interesting. Our friend Toby Nicastro wrote to me and said he was wondering why the shows from Indie on were so guitar heavy. He said Shredfest contained virtually no Barber on the synth, MIDI, laptop, etc. It was such a rock and roll biscuit show, and Barber was especially in the zone. I love the change of pace and variety, but curious about what led to it. So there you go, Toby.
Well, I think we were the tech wasn't quite there, and we were trying to do, dial back the crazy a little bit and tighten up a little bit as a group, as an improv troupe, if you will. We could go nuts every single night, but if after a while, if people are never there for you when you need them, it gets very frustrating. You need people to be there for you sometimes when you need them, and the wilder you get, the more it's a free for all. It's one thing if we're taking acid and playing in Hawaii, like Jimi Hendrix did at Rainbow Bridge, where it's just you go up there and you just go crazy for 2 hours and you walk off the stage and you're there it is, but I think that's not what we do. We have a show to do tomorrow. We have another show to do day after that. So we have different songs to do every night. So I can't necessarily rely on things that are going to happen in a song that none of us have played in a month. World of Spinning got busted out twice this tour and sounded great, but we haven't played that song forever.
Yeah.
So it's just a different thing. We could do Hawaii and potentially run through the Hendrix lineup. Whatever he did there might be interesting, but oh man. So you could just hear the music bouncing off the glass, the glass windows in there.
So they had the stained glass and everything in there?
Oh, huge stained glass with the whole side of one wall and the whole side of another wall was all stained glass windows, which is a nightmare for a sound guy, but I think Rich can handle it. He's a big boy.
Well, it must have made for a beautiful light show. Herm has been doing an amazing job all tour. Some of these locations, like the little pavilion in Westport, he did some very, very special, beautiful displays that I've seen. I keep coming back to Matt Butler on that jam second night of Camp Home Again.
Yeah, Matt was awesome.
Bringing dynamics to the jams, and ever since, we've had a lot more variety in the sound.
Well, it definitely was interesting because what Matt got everybody in the band to do was play a lot more dynamically, and the jam still continued. And I think what people thought, and I think everybody had their own little version of this thought in their head, was if I go dynamically down this road or that road, jam's going to fall apart. So I have to do this because this is me, holding it down or whatever. And there is a lot of truth to that. But when Butler was up there, he was able to get really good dynamics out of everybody. and yet the jam still continued. So I think that that was the opening of the floodgates for very dynamic biscuits.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody's had those moments at a biscuit show where you just don't want whatever's happening to end. You know it's going to change and that what comes next is probably going to be exciting or mind-blowing or dark or light or whatever, but you're in that moment and you're just feeling so present. And I feel like this 15, 12, whatever minutes, you guys just let everyone stay in this place and really just enjoy what's possibly one of the most beautiful melodies you've ever written. I could keep going, but I think in the interest of being able to sample some more, I'm going to bring this one down, John. And I'm going to go to the second set of this show, which got super weird and went in such a different direction and is truly exemplary of how, as we were talking about before, the dynamics, the variety. So second set, Jigsaw, Space Train, Pimp Blue Ricky, Cyclone, Jigsaw. John.
Yes, sweet set, right? Well, look at that.
This set. Okay, this is the Cyclone. And I'll have you know, this is, according to our friends at the Biscuits Internet Project, Ryan Ryonix and Mike Walsh, the longest version of Cyclone ever played.
What, this one?
Yes.
And I mean, it depends on where you track it. I mean, come on.
Well, it contains where you track it, but this one goes and goes and goes and has like 7 distinct thematic jams within it.
I gotta listen to it. I wonder what it is. Is that when Cyclone came out? 05, huh? Brownstein's new bass line and the keyboard bass.
Dynamics.
Right? There you go. That's a good question. The bass is being played by Brownie on synth bass. But Aaron does do some other stuff. Like some wows and stuff like that, yeah. I don't know if I agree with that. You're Beavis and I'm Butthead? Is that just because...
I don't know.
I don't know if that works. I think I'm definitely Beavis. I just don't think there's,
I think I have the height.
There's more of a Beavis thing?
I don't know.
All right.
They know. They're the ones that... But this Cyclone is a DJ mix. This is you guys like dropping new tracks every 3 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a little bit of arpeggiation going on by Magner now.
Yeah.
Mark's playing his notes. And I'm playing clean guitar over the top of it, which is not what I would normally do. I would normally go to like an arpeggio or something.
Yeah. And that's a cool thing when you've got 3/4 of the band in tractor beam mode, but you're back in clean guitar jam band mode.
Yeah.
Those contrasts work so well. What do you think, John? Can you get this act on stage at Ultra or Movement?
I mean, we need a hit single. Like, we just need a hit single. We can do all these things. All these places want us on their stages. They're just worried that the Disco Biscuit echo chamber is too tight and too small, and the echo chamber that those acts on those huge stages have are gigantic echo chambers that includes all sorts of normal people who,
Yeah. Well, that's something we got to work on. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. How do we break out of the echo chamber? All the Biscuits fans think the Disco Biscuits are the best band ever. How do we get more people to do that?
I mean, look, Firewall Exchange is a pretty hit song. Country Royale is pretty hit song. I feel like Scars of the Brave is there. Like, I feel like we're writing. I thought The Deal was there. I thought Doorbell was there. But it's like, how do you get that stuff to go in today's world where there are no more hit singles and there are no more, like, how do you get on the radio to play music for people when there's like, what is that even anymore? So I don't know. It's a tough world. It's interesting.
I have a hypothesis, and
what is it?
It's nothing that you have to do. You've done your part. You wrote The Deal. You wrote Ring the Doorbell Twice, Dino Baby, Scars.
Oh yeah, Dino Baby's fire.
Postcard.
Yeah.
Now it's on us. We need to bring more people to the party. We need to activate the echo chamber, break out of the echo chamber, and let other people hear what we have to say. And in the process of that, we need to stop excluding people because maybe they like another band that we don't respect or appreciate, or they dress different, or they dance different. I don't care. I don't think, John, you care where anyone comes from as long as they're here. And if they are here, then you guys are going to reach the level that you deserve to be at. That's just my hypothesis.
I think if like one song got huge, we could get Skepta on the second track. I think if Firewall Exchange became a gigantic song, Skepta's gonna hop on a second version of Firewall Exchange that we re-release in 3 months, which is like how they do it, right? You put it out once, it does well, and then you add different rappers, you do Drake on one, then you do it again. Like we would do those kind of things. Yeah. It's interesting because the promoters really love us. Like the spots we got from the Bonnaroo guys, the stage they put us on. I know they had to cancel, so we didn't get to see that stage over the course of a whole weekend. But they did that right. I mean, they really had something there, and there's nothing you can do when the whole place floods. Like you have to get everybody out of there. When like 68 million gallons of water come flooding through your thing, like. There's nothing nobody's tires are for that. You have to get them out of there before it's a boat situation. But that stage was really great, and they put us on the headline spot of that stage. So, the promoters really like us. The promoters at Electric Force that we literally got a better spot for Tractor Beam than we had for Disco Biscuits last year. And the spot for Disco Biscuits was awesome.
Yeah.
So we got an upgrade for our techno side project, which was crazy. In my mind, it was crazy. I was expecting Tractor Beam to play somewhere more remote, but we had like the key spot, and Coachella hasn't taken us yet, but I talked to the guys who run Coachella, and they were just like, they were totally cool. They gave me tickets. They treated me like a Kardashian when I was at Coachella backstage. I literally was in line with the tall Kardashian girl, like literally standing right next to her. Like, do I address the fact that you're that person? Like I was sitting there just like making small talk. Like, do we talk about it or not? And
you could have just been like,
you
live in Calabasas, I live in Winnetka.
Yeah,
I mean, we're basically neighbors.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about where we got breakfast in LA. But yeah, I mean, but they treated me like I was like Garth Brooks or something when I went to Coachella. And then I was like talking to the guy, and I was like, well, how come we don't play Coachella? And he's just like, when these 19-year-old kids know who you are, you can come here and play. The second that happens, you can come here and play, is what he said. And so that's like the thing with the Biscuits. Our music has been very, very unique and weird. It's unique and weird.
The people who book every major festival, who run every major agency, run all of the VIP touring package companies, are all either former Biscuits crew members, Biscuits fans.
It's true, though. It really is true.
Like
a lot of them. Like most of the bands booked at Coachella this year were booked by LeBron, and LeBron got his start throwing after parties at Biscuit shows. Like, so what are you gonna do? It's just we have been a formative part of the business.
Well, chat is digging into what our strategy should be for using this grassroots energy that we have to propel the band forward, because it is nothing having to do with the band's talent, work ethic, quality of their playing. I really think that we all at this point can step up and help push this band, share the Biscuits music with everyone we know, bring friends, bring family members to a show, introduce the next generation. And I mean, this cyclone is still going. I mean, like I said, this cyclone is a DJ mix. No one needs to know this is a band. This is like a DJ dropping like 15 tracks.
Yeah, and this is the same jam right now?
This is the same jam.
I'm just very jam bandy. I mean, look, the Biscuits had a little bit of a jam. If I sit on guitar all week and, get to really talk to the band about playing melody, we become very jam bandy, and some people really like that. And you know, I to me, it's neither here nor there. Like, I like the techno stuff, I like the jam band stuff. So, you know, I'm good with it either way. I thought what we did at that church was incredible in the second set. So, and I was like, wow, I don't know if we've hit this level of improv yet. It just felt very fresh.
And you don't need to choose, because as this jam demonstrates, you can have a techno moment with hard arpeggiation and Mark on the keyboard bass and Magner dropping samples, you on the fractal, and then you could, on a dime, slide into this beautiful melodic jam band triumphant moment with Magner pounding it out on the keys and you playing a clean guitar.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I think it's the band plays like 3-4 hours every night or something crazy. So that gives us a lot of time to do a lot of different things. I can't believe we only get 9 or 10 songs into that 3 or 4 hours. Is a little bit embarrassing. I was looking at some set lists. So I saw good old cosmic country Daniel Donato at Bonnaroo, and I was chatting it out with Daniel for a little bit at the salad bar or wherever we were getting food. And you know, he's good kid, really likes the biscuits. You know, he's like knows probably a lot about the music, and my buddies all went to see him in LA and said his show was packed and it was awesome, and they were telling me how great it was.
Yeah, that was me and Kevin.
Yeah, you and Kevin, but it was the old guys that go with Kevin to the shows. It was Marcus. It was that group. Those guys were like, you're either the Dead or they don't give a shit, you know? And those guys loved Daniel Donato. And I was like, oh, wow, look at you guys. And so when I went to him, I had to tell him that. Not that he cares, but I thought it would be a funny way to kick the convo off, because we've only met on Instagram Live. We'd never met in person before. So it was the first time we ever met in person. This is the first time he realized I'm like 6'9", you know? He thought I was 5'8". He kept being like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, everyone in his band is like junior sized.
Yeah.
They're still like 2/3 of the way through puberty. I loved seeing them. My favorite part of their show, however, was their Biscuits jam. They have like a second set Biscuits jam.
Of course. I mean, you do the Biscuit podcast. Of course, that's going to be your favorite part. I mean, if that's like, what is this? What happened to Cyclone?
I don't know.
Wow, we haven't done this in a minute. Oh, this sounds good.
It does. Unfortunately, we got to fade it out, but we got so much more crazy music to play, John, because you went right from Columbus to Pittsburgh to Stage AE. Pittsburgh always has been a great Biscuits town. Thinking back to the late 90s, who could forget that show at Graffiti's, March 27th, 1999? You guys brought it. And this is, of course, the show that has the crazy second set. You could forget.
I have already forgotten.
This brain cannot. So first set, Robots Freeze, Photograph, Lunar Pursuit, Robots. But the second set is where the magic happened. Okay, you probably all thought I was going to play something from the 40-minute Better in Doses. Unfortunately, there's just so much there that I couldn't even figure out what to cut out. But I do have something from the second set to share with you before I do play that, though, John.
Yes.
Doses for a moment. It was the song from the new batch that kind of you guys, like, you debuted it, and then you were like, I don't know about this one. I think any confusion over whether or not Doses is here to stay was eliminated by the 41-minute version you played in Pittsburgh. But can you just fill us in on how you're feeling? No, this one right here in Pittsburgh, you played 40+ minutes of Better in Doses.
But where were we? We were in the West Coast, and we were in that place on like a Wednesday night. We played Doses, and it was like Chico or something like that. And it was all people who were like just checking the band out on a Wednesday night, had nothing better to do. Like there was only like a couple of people on tour. And it was a big room full of people where I was looking around and I was like, I don't know who any of these people are. And so we put Better in Doses on the set list for them because it just Better in Doses. Anyone can like that song. There's no like group of like you play like if you play crickets. There's people who are like I love it, and there's people who are like I don't know, that one's weird. But Better in Doses is like that's your song. That's the one.
That Chico show, I'm glad you reminded me of that. That is one of the sleeper shows of 2025. If I recall correctly, that is the show that there was no stream and Amanda Carson was holding her phone up, broadcasting over Mixler, and booming
Amanda.
sound from
Poor
that
girl.
show, from that Reactor Doses Munchkin segment. It was like listening to one of those dead audience tapes from the 80s where you like feel the walls vibrating with Phil's bass. I think Doses has really outkicked its coverage. This version in particular, I think shows that song is a real heavy hitter. It's interesting to get it in a set with Risky Business. I think of those songs for some reason as being very related because Joey was writing them at the same time. And in my mind, they go together very well.
Is it because of the lyrical content or is it because of the vibe?
The vibe, which carries over into, it's just a lot of Joey, like, you know, like you can't handle me, like that kind of that side of Joey, you know?
Yeah.
But let me play a segment from slightly
Just pay your
after
rent.
in the show. This is a Toby heavy episode because Toby brought to my attention this segment, which came during the Risky Business, and you guys just, again, a different sound.
Is this from 1999?
This is from 3 days ago.
It sounds like it's from 1999,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Kind of.
Yeah. Some like Linus and Lucy,
Yeah.
Charles Giraldi, or Vince Giraldi, excuse me.
It does have that feeling.
But with Mark pounding away the synth bass in the back.
Yeah, I think it's a major synth bass, which you don't hear very often in the synth bass world. Somebody playing a synth bass like this, but playing these notes is very rare. This is going into Doses? What?
Doses was earlier in the set.
So this is just like Happy Jam Freakout? What?
Where it resolves, John, I never would have guessed. And this is a short segment, so we'll be there soon.
Did Mark switch from synth bass to live bass in the middle of the jam?
Yeah. What guitars were you playing this last week? Were you back on the Gibson and the Parker?
I was on the Parker and the Gibson like all week. Then I didn't even play any of the 10 other guitars they had. I was just trying to keep it tight a little bit. Yeah, I did play the PRS in Westport a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna change the pickups in the PRS. Or I have to like set it up a little differently than the other guitars because it's just such a different animal than the Gibson, which is like feeding back constantly, and the PRS is like clean and dry as a bone. So it's like it's hard to plug them both into the same amp and expect good results, you know. So we're gonna get some loosey-goosey pickups and throw it in that thing, and hopefully it'll, you know, it won't quite be as precise as it is, but it'll match better with the Gibson.
This is a place you've been probably 300 times in your career.
I mean, it sounds like Jerry to me right here. Like, it's a very Jerry tone I have. I don't know if I'm doing it on purpose. Doesn't it sound like Jerry, like that thing right there, whatever that is?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that on purpose, but... No, I didn't give Jesse his guitar back. I'm not going to. He doesn't want it back right away.
John, where the hell did that helicopters come from? That was like...
I think we ran out of time and we called an audible. Get out of there, you know? It's like, we got to cap the set. Got to do something nice. People love this song for some reason.
It's helicopters.
People love this song, so...
But you didn't end the set with it. You...
Oh, I don't know then. I don't know. I could be wrong. Shows you what I know. Oh yeah, right into Space Bird. Yeah,
little
yeah.
DJ segue into Space Bird.
I like that. That's hot.
That's
a good moment
little
right
segment right there, just such a small moment where you guys were just all locked in. And again, like a transition into helicopters, Biscuits 101. What could be more standard issue? But you did it in a way that was so fresh and that is just emblematic of what was going on this last week, where everything had a little bit of extra sauce.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Right.
I think so. Well, I got one last short clip to share with you, John, of something that I really liked, because after Pittsburgh, you guys crossed like 2/3 of the Northeast to get yourself to Westport, Connecticut.
Yeah. Yeah.
11 Pavilion. Now,
I love the 11 Pavilion. It's so sweet.
I mean, how beautiful was that location? I grew up in like New Haven, Connecticut, and Westport was always like the fancy place where you go for like Christmas shopping or for a day out on the town. So the thought of the Disco Biscuits performing at their little outdoor amphitheater. I mean, this is like Martha Stewart territory. This is about as
is
like
it had that vibe. There was tablecloths backstage.
Yeah.
Tablecloths.
Yeah.
And like matching napkins. There's like tablecloths.
Totally.
I was like, what's up back here? This is crazy.
Well,
like, are we on the set of the Great British
Bake Off? Yeah. I heard great things from everyone who was there, that the vibes were really fantastic, that the location was beautiful. Hopefully this can become a place where the Biscuits can stop by on future summer tours. But the music
definitely
was really fantastic. It was a really, really fun show. Really up-tempo, fun, bouncy first set, a Shelby. Another spin, tantalized Shelby, and then you closed it out with a Magellan. I love that. Like, play a big suite of songs, take a pause, welcome everybody, and then just fucking hammer a Magellan as the sun is starting to go down. But it's the second set where things really started to take off. So you finished the helicopters, or you started the helicopters that you finished the night before, and the rest of the Spaceberg. And the to be continued from, I don't even know, from earlier in the week. You hit a hot Crickets peak. Coming out of that Crickets, you locked into a really nice riff, like a funky riff, and Mark started doubling it, and you just rode that out through the Crickets funk jam. But then out of Crickets, it got wild. You turned Westport, Connecticut, Martha Stewart country into a nasty dungeon, culminating in this little segment. Liz, I'm with you. I'm going to feel so robbed if I don't get to see a Like a Virgin, or excuse me, Like a Prayer tricycle mashup at a Future Biscuit show. you triggering that other sample?
Yeah. It's two different notes for me. I gotta play Tell Me You Can Say, and then I gotta play Yank, Spit, and then I gotta play Make Me Smile. And I'm getting the volume right. Because it's not the lead sample of the song. So I want it to be there. I want you to hear it. I want you to know what it is. Maybe think about it a little bit. But I want there to be room in the volume for the Madonna sample.
John, can you explain the origin of that other sample? It's a little less familiar than Madonna.
It's a song by Chicago. It's early Chicago, so it's their first singer. And it's a song where I've been trying to figure out. The song's called "Make Me Smile." And it's like a classic Chicago song, but before they're like Steven Cetera, but before they got
before they became like AOR.
Before the pop thing happened.
Yeah,
and then
they were a funk band.
They were a funk band, a hardcore, great funk band. And Make Me Smile was one of their big hits, and I've been trying to sample it. It's like it has a very, very high rent location on my sampler, and I'm trying to fit it in anywhere that I can. And I think I did. I think I found a spot for it here. It works over the whole section works, but Aaron really only likes the Make Me Smile part, so I just play that part because, it's to me it sounds great everywhere, but I know that that's probably wrong. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you have you want something to work so bad you lose objective framing. I think that's where I am with this particular sample.
I think it works really well. And you guys are 2 for 2 with Chicago, as Boots O'Reilly is reminding us, 25 or 6 to 4.
Yeah, that was dope. Yeah,
Chicago
I totally
and the
agree.
Biscuits go well together.
Yeah,
who knows? Maybe you'll play there again someday.
It's funny because backstage, I was talking about that 25 or 64 jam. I was like. Was that like Twisted in the Road? Was that, or was that one of those?
Twisted, yeah.
And I was just like, why don't we just do that every time we play Twisted? Until we get a cease and desist. Yeah, I think it is Terry Kath on vocals. Yeah. Make me smile. Yeah. Beautiful song, great song. Yeah. And you hear him go, in there.
Perfect slide right back into Doorbell. And that is really just... We covered the full gamut in this episode. We got Postcard. We got Bliss. We got Playing to the Melody. We got Dunce Ungen. We got Martha Stewart, White Tablecloths. We got Surgeons in their scrubs. We've got Filthy Wooks throwing down in a church. What more can we ask for?
It was a good week. It was. I thought this tour was going to be really, really hard because there were so many after parties. There were so many long drives and stuff like that. But the crowd was really great every night. We had really great kids every night coming to the shows. A lot of people were on tour, which I thought was heroic. Yeah. Considering how it was really it was a tour designed to get us, to these big stages that we were being offered. It wasn't designed to be this perfect tour. It was more designed as let's do some shows based around these 2 huge concerts, which we can't possibly say no to, or we'd be out of our mind to say no to these shows. So it was a lot of that. And it worked out great. And that pavilion show to close it out was just that huge lawn with everybody going up to the top, and the lights were great. And Even the 9 to 5ers who came out to the show because they happened to live in Connecticut and were just like there were people there. Danny Glimpsher was there, who I wrote Jigsaw Earth with.
What?
Yeah, he was at the Levitt Pavilion show because he lives there. He's
the guy who wrote the poem?
Yeah, he wrote the "When the Man Steals Your Nature with His Watch" poem.
Whoa.
Yeah, he wrote probably wrote half of the lyrics that made it into the song, and then I added the other half and I added all the music and done. I thought we were gonna write a bunch of. I told him the other night, I was like, I thought there was another song in us for sure. And but he's like, he's a real estate guy. He just does his thing. He's got his family. He's got a bunch of kids, and he just does his thing. It is what it is. But he came to the show, and I was like talking to him before the show, and he came pre-show, and we had a very long hang, like during dinner and everything. So I was like, he's coming pre-show. He's going to watch one song. He's going to go home, End of the show, still there, right next to LeBron with their lighters in the air. I was just like, well, what's going on?
I love it. Wow.
Very cool. Very cool week.
I'm really glad that you have a few days now to recharge at home with Lisa and Riv and Stevie and get to sleep in your own bed a few nights this week. You guys have...
Yeah, I'll be lucky if that happens.
Well,
last night, River crawled into where I sleep and demanded space in the bed, and I'm just like, come on, dude. I haven't been to bed in a real bed in like weeks. And he's like, meh, 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 I need to sleep here too.
Wow.
And I'm like, all right. So I went and slept in River's bed last night. So
in the race car bed.
Yes.
Well, he's probably happy to have you home, but not so happy that he wants to give up sleeping in the king size bed with mom. But
no, he's not giving that up. No.
So John, let's look ahead to this week. You've got July 2nd, XL Live, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. When have the Biscuits not brought it in Harrisburg? I mean, come on. Harrisburg is Biscuits country.
I mean, people have said the amazing things about this venue. I think the show is going to be over the top because this venue is great for us, and we're playing, if we play our best at this venue, we're playing at a really high level right now. So that best is going to be top notch for sure.
I know the Central Pennsylvania crew will all be out in force. All the Philly fans, the Jersey, the Long Island people. The Northeast is ready to have you guys back. You've got July 3rd. We've got this tractor beam show at the Ave Live in Philadelphia. Has Tractor Beam ever played a show in Philly, a hometown gig before? We've heard, John, that this is like a club that has been around in various incarnations in Philly going back to when you were in college.
I'll see. I mean, they want us to play there. They want us to do a hometown Tractor Beam show. They don't want to they can't really play Philly with Biscuits and Atlantic City with Biscuits. Like, that's just not fair to Atlantic City. So they won't do that, but they will do this. So we have this, really nice free Philly Tractor Beam show. It's like a free extra show that wouldn't have happened otherwise, that everybody's super excited about. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is like a straight hard ticket club show, not in Colorado, for Tractor Beam. So this is a very unique experience. We'll see
do
how
you
it
have a
goes.
sense of how big that room is?
It's huge. It is huge. Yeah, it's like 2,500 or something fully stocked. I don't know if they go to that level with this new setup, but it's always been like it seems really small, but there's a balcony. It loops all the way around. There's a whole floor area. It's just really, really surprisingly big.
Well, it's going to be exciting for the hometown crowd to get a Tractor Beam show. Beat that radius clause, because on July 4th and 5th, the Disco Biscuits are taking it to the Borgata in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Brownstein is calling this the 30th anniversary celebration, even though he has confirmed he was not at the first Disco Biscuit show because he was at Fish. I mean, man's got to have his priorities. But 2 nights at the Borgata. He said he was at Fish.
Maybe.
Well, 2 nights at the Borgata, John. Last year, Atlantic City was one of the highlights of Summer Tour. Biscuits have a long history in AC and Jersey, of course. I mean, you're a Jersey boy. What better way to celebrate the 4th of July than 2 nights in the Las Vegas of the East, John? It's a beautiful town.
It is the Las Vegas East. I mean, we play great there. It's a hometown show for me, basically.
Yeah.
And we play great there, and everybody shows up. It's nice to be there on the 4th because that's like an important time for Atlantic City, and so they really, they wanted to bring us in because the people there want to see us. So I'm excited about that.
Well, that is going to be epic. One other announcement, guys, lots of video streams in our future, which means, John, I have my work cut out for me creating those set break shows, but look out for the official announcement ASAP. I've been informed, however, that a lot of the shows from here on out are going to be available in video on Nugs. So make sure you are subscribed to that video tier. One last show, July 6th, closing out the week, the White Eagle Hall in Jersey City, New Jersey. You guys are getting spoiled. This is quite a run. The 2nd in Harrisburg, the 3rd in Philly Tractor Beam, 4th and 5th, the Borgata, the 6th, Jersey City. This is really a big week for the Biscuits, and the 30th anniversary tour rolls on. So, yeah,
and guess what? Everybody who's on this, everybody's watching us right now, do us a favor and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
For all the reasons that every other YouTube thing tells you.
Yes.
Just do it for us too. That's fine.
Please. Yes.
Like and subscribe.
We're investing a lot of our time and attention in building up the YouTube channel, doing these Monday evening live check-ins with John from the road. I'm proud of us that we've kept it going this far.
We're doing great.
We've got, this tour goes deep into July, and looking ahead beyond that, John, how excited are we to return to Pine Creek Lodge for 3 nights? You've got the Mishawaka for 3 nights. There's so much to be excited about. You guys have Halloween. You have 2 biscuit sets and a tractor beam set.
Dude, Halloween, 2 biscuit sets and a tractor beam set. Is it our festival? Did we take over the festival? What happened there?
Might as well. They did we did a collab post, me and Halloween, not even Disco Biscuits. Me and Halloween did a collab post together. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And the amount of shows is really, it's unparalleled what's going on they must like our fans now. I gotta send this back to the fans. In the old days, they used to hide us behind like the porta potties, like on some stage that was only open at 2:30 in the morning, and there were no lights on. You couldn't see anybody who was awake. It's like that was the stage that we got every single time. And now they're like, oh, why don't you play this stage with your one group and then take your other group and go play the other stuff, or play the biggest stage, whichever stage you want to play. It's like they really have. They're really doing all these festivals are doing like extra work to make us. They should be kicking us to the curb, but instead they're like, no, why don't you come play our best stage and headlining spot? Like, it's very crazy and fun. Listen, like I said earlier, you guys have been playing the long game. People who were dancing like lunatics in the pit at a biscuit show in 2005 are now running the music industry. And as a result, the Disco Biscuits are getting these billings. They're getting the choice slots on the best stages at the biggest jam electronic festivals. I mean, the Bonnaroo bump is real. Electric Forest, Secret Dreams. You guys have quite a lot ahead of you. So, John, I think we'll call it a night right there. Did I just make that up? Are you playing Secret Dreams? Yes. You are playing Secret Dreams. Okay.
2 weeks from now.
Say anything incorrect, but John,
yes,
thank you so
again,
much for...
we played it last year. We're playing it again this year. We'll play it again next year. I think the Biscuit fans are carrying themselves in a way that is so quality. It's the Biscuit kids, they like to get down, but it's not so insane as it used to became, and now they're biscuit adults, and now they're like a coveted ticket sale. If you can get the biscuit kids at your festival, you're gonna have a better festival. It used to be the other way around, but now it's that way. So I'm enjoying this. I'm gonna enjoy this for as long as it lasts. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but I'm enjoying it. If the fans are getting it done with the festival owners and the promoters, and everybody's being cool and everybody loves having us around, that's great. I love that.
Yeah. Well, the best feeling I get after these festivals is when I go on their Facebook groups or their Reddit pages and I see people saying, it was my first biscuit show. Not only was the music great, but the crowd was great. When people say, I haven't seen people throwing down like that before, or everyone was really nice. Someone gave me a sticker, someone gave me a water bottle, someone gave me a hug, whatever. It's the music can go so far, but we have our role as well, and love to see you guys welcoming with open arms all of these new people who are getting their first exposure to the biscuits, whether they're new to the scene or people who've been around for decades who've never given the biscuits a chance. So guys, thank you so much for supporting the band. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Like John said, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, share an episode with a friend, 424-666-SIYD. Leave us a voicemail for John and Aaron's new band name, or any questions you have, any jam requests you want us to break down, any jamception suggestions. So much exciting stuff going on in the world of the Disco Biscuits, and John and I will continue to keep bringing you these updates Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. So on behalf of John Gutwillig, the entire Touchdowns All Day family, it's Max Dawson saying, see you next time, guys.
Yes.